Okay, in the last session we had discussed the story of the adult side as well. So we know the story of the children's side, the 3 years journey they have covered, and almost 90% of their L1, language 1, the mother tongue, the native tongue they speak at home, they have already learned. So our role is transitioning them to, if the L2 is different from L1, for example, English, and they are coming from Pashto, Balochi. The adult side story is a little complicated, and adult side, the story has a loss of learning now, that there lots of linguists are adding tremendous value, whether it is Noam Chomsky or Steve Pinker, or tremendous value there. The research community is adding what possibly we should try, but it's, as we now understand, it's intensely culture and context specific, because in this the research says ingredients, how to do as a broad principle, are available everywhere. Recipe is available nowhere on the planet. No, we have to see that particular audience of those children, see every patient's history, where are they coming from, and then start planning from our learning of the adult side of particularly last 300 years. This is our way to go. And it's a continuous research, and 5 years after we will be talking different things, and 10 years after we will be talking different things. I thought some of the things that I don't, to keep the videos short, I'm not telling, but the sources where we got in last 10 years. Now, I will keep mentioning some of those. I found this book very interesting. Language Learning, Homeschool and Society, Pearson. Generally, the Open University, there is the Open University on the internet. Their books on reading, writing, we found were very interesting, full of research. And you never know, because sometimes the people who know the context, they talk far more sense than a research community who is doing vicarious research sitting somewhere in the Europe or America or Japan. So I'm coming from Sri Lanka today. So I found this book very interesting. And from Sri Lanka, teaching your child to talk, very interesting. And this is an ongoing journey, and we'll keep sharing, and it's continuous. But the gist of all that is that listening and speaking, that's where language should start, and we should never ignore any of these: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Reading is the foundation. Listening is the basic ethics. It's part of ethics, and overall, the language development should be taken as a life skill. And the social, cultural, linguistics, behavioralism, all this learning must come in our session plan as we start acting with the child. I also had a chance to look into this book. It's a Pakistan's book, Allama Iqbal Open University. And I was stunned after going through about more than 24 different sources and about 400 videos on the YouTube and from universities and child development centers. I found these guys, early childhood, this one book was enough. I wasted my time, I'm telling you. But then I said, every teacher is doing the Bachelor in Education in Pakistan and doing this. Then I realized that they are doing it for sake of their B.Ed exam. They are not doing it for learning. Nobody has trained them on these issues, and they, after the next day of the exam, they don't even know what they have written in the paper. So it's about, like, if you look at me and see this is Islam, so that's a kind of mistake. Research team's job is that they help them put this thing into practice, train teachers on them. So the teachers training should be first in the area of listening and talking. So we'll talk about these things. Listening is essentially an ethics thing and essentially about emotionally connecting. And I was stunned to note in our history of Muslims that the Prophet was interrupted a couple of times by the Creator himself. One of those times was a lapse in communication. The Prophet was talking to a head of a tribe, thinking if the head of the tribe can understand the philosophy, obviously the whole tribe goes with him. And a common person came, and he was blind, and he started to seek Prophet Muhammad's attention, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, a Prophet, for a second, kind of tend to ignore and look at that ayat, Abasa wa Tawalla. You shouldn't ignore him. So communication is such an important part in our kind of ethics as well. We say, okay, guy, you complete your thing, and then I'll talk. This is not listening. This is waiting for the other side to shut up. So these all things we will talk about a little bit, but it's a kind of training issues that we have to do for ourselves, for our teachers. Thank you very much.